for example, why the Auditor General was misled, why senior bureaucrats participated in these meetings when the Auditor General was told they hadn't. And now we learn that there were emails going around where Mr. Clement was suggesting job offers to the municipalities to friends of his. Mr. Clement has to come clean, because it's not just the fact that he may be misrepresenting his portfolio as a minister, but now that he's president of Treasury Board, this is the ethical standard bearer for the Conservative Party. If Mr. Clement, as the keeper of taxpayers' trust, and Mr. Clement, as the ethical watchdog, cannot be counted on to meet any basic ethical standards, or would not even answer about it, then how can we hold this government to account? What we know about him is he hangs out with Tony Clement and Tony Clement's wife and kids. They seem to be good friends. It was Mr. Clement's idea to offer the job and then to call the mayor, and the mayor says, I'll get working on it right away. You know, this is the kind of ward boss politics that Canadians should be fed up with. There has to be an ethical standard, and you cannot use your position as a minister when you're showering or riding with millions and millions of dollars to be saying, hey, how about you need a job in a municipality? I'll make some calls. I think Mr. Clement has to come clean.
How did you get access to these emails, and why would the municipalities be so helpful in giving you all the documents you've had so far? Because they are the ones who've been showered with the money.
We've asked the municipalities to work with us to provide the information. The municipalities have nothing to hide. They certainly, many great town councillors and mayors in those communities. The questions are for Tony. And, my kids play that game, Where's Waldo? Canadians are getting pretty fed up with saying, where's Tony? This is a serious issue. And if he's not willing to stand up, then what's he doing at the Treasury Board?
Do you have any news on when you might be able to get him before committee?
Well, of course we want to get Mr. Clement before committee, but what we're seeing is an elaborate cover-up by the Conservative government around any of this. The Auditor General was clearly misled on numerous facts. Key bureaucrats told the Auditor General they didn't know what she was talking about when the evidence that we're uncovering shows a complete opposite set of facts. So as we delve deeper into this, it's getting darker and darker. So I'd like to ask Mr. Clement, come clean now. Tell us what you know and stop hiding and running out the door and using people in the back bench to do the song and dance for you.
Accusing him of doing exactly.
I think the fact that Mr. Clement is offering jobs in municipalities while he's a minister, while he is showering millions and millions of dollars in pork barrel projects, is the kind of politics that stinks in this country. It does not meet the ethical standard. It does not meet the ethical test of a minister. And now that he's head of Treasury Board, it certainly doesn't meet any ethical standard.
But what does this email prove, Mr. Angus? Because I understand where you're going of what it suggests, but do we actually know if this man got a job? Do we actually know what happened in the end?
The issue of whatever happened with Mr. Friedlander and his job isn't the point. The issue is the fact that Mr. Clement offered and initiated this process. That's the fundamental question. That's why, where's Tony? Why can't he come out and say why he thought, as Minister of Health, on his personal BlackBerry, to contact a friend who hangs out obviously with Tony's wife and kids and says, would you like a job? And then calls the mayor, and the mayor says, I'll get on it. That's the fundamental issue. It's not how much he was paid, not whether the job worked out, none of that. The issue is the minister using his office to offer jobs at the height of one of the most dubious pork barrel spending sprees in Canadian history.
And Tony Clement did get up at some point during QP. What do you make of the fact that he got up for a question but not for another one?
Unfortunately, Mr. Clement is looking rather ridiculous right now. He is personally responsible. He's personally accountable for the misspending of money, for the fact the Auditor General was not told the facts. He needs to come clean as to how he even managed to get border infrastructure money into the riding. And is it a conflict of interest for him to use his position to try and open doors in municipalities for jobs? Certainly, and he needs to answer for it.
How can you get response from the Parliamentary Secretary to Foreign Affairs, since that's where you got your answers today?
Obviously the Conservatives are scrambling here, and the fact that we've had the Foreign Affairs Minister and the Foreign Affairs Secretary get up day after day and do a song and dance, these guys are the ones who are charged with dealing with Libya and the UN. Maybe the Conservative government doesn't understand. Muskoka is not a foreign country. It's not a foreign crisis. It's a crisis of accountability within the Conservative government, and there's only one man who can solve this, and it's Tony Clement.